Okay, you guys, we are back with another banging video. In this video, we're gonna talk about one of our favorite white girls, Hayden Panettiere. And this girl, she is so loved. We all feel as though we grew up with her. She was just so personable, so warm, and there was no boundaries, no barriers when it comes to her being a lighter writer, working with people of color. She just saw people, and as such, this has shaken the entire world. Aiden's death has everyone mourning, no matter the country, no matter the language, everyone is saddened by Aiden's passing. Now, in case you guys have missed it, it was last Sunday that we learned of Hayden Panettiere's death. Our cheerleader girl, our favorite Bring It On girl, Nashville, and the list goes on. She's one of those child stars that grew up in Hollywood, and she gave her story. She shared her story on the Jay Shetty's podcast, wherein she was on a yacht having a really good time with people she thought she could trust. And this lady who she, thought she could trust, who she thought had her best interest at heart, just placed her in a gentleman's bed. And he was just there like, oh, this is my thing. This is what I do. This is my prize. And that girl had to hide out on a yacht. So just imagine what else happened to this girl in Hollywood that she never got a chance to tell, right? And on Sunday, when we learned of Aiden's passing, we learned that she was pronounced dead at about 2:32 p.m. Sunday afternoon, and the 911 call was received at 1:31, if not 1:51, and someone was with her at the time. Now we're finding out that it was her abusive ex, Brian Hickerson, and his brother that was with her. The restraining order ended the day before Aiden's passing. So it's given the sense that Hayden was still seeing this guy low-key, and the moment that the restraining order was expired, they weren't hiding anymore. No. It is said that Narcan was found beside her when the 911 emergency response unit arrived. They found a nasal spray named Narcan beside her. No, Narcan is used to reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. No, it is alleged that Narcan belongs to Brian Hickerson, allegedly, and his brother Zach. So what the internet has been theorizing is that Brian did, something to Hayden, allegedly, that resulted in her passing. What people believe is that Hayden's death is a result of accidental overdose that was enabled by Brian and his brother. That is what a lot of critics on the internet believes. Remember, we heard that 911 call. The emergency dispatcher did make it clear that it was an overdose. She suffered a cardiac arrest, and they tried to resuscitate her, but it was not successful. So there's a report that is coming out now today. What OK Magazine is saying that they're saying, and we're going to get into this report, Hayden Panettiere's abusive boyfriend Brian Hickerson gave her Narcan during suspected overdose, brother claims. The speculation needs to end. But the thing is that both of you were there. Why did you enable such behavior? But then again, when you look at past interview of Brian, TMZ did a past interview with Brian. Brian seems to be a sweet guy, but then when you look at the history between Brian and Hayden, it was toxic AF to the point where Hayden had to get a restraining order. Also, if you look at Brian's disposition during that interview, it gave the sense that Brian is someone who abuses substance as well. So much so that Megyn Kelly even did a segment on it asking if this is someone any parent would like to see their daughter bringing home to them. And personally, my answer to that question would be absolutely not. Brian seems like he has good parts and bad parts in terms of personality, right? Now, what OK Magazine is saying is that Hayden Panettiere abusive boyfriend may have tried to save her life. But honey, if he was there trying to save it, I don't think he tried to save her life, because I believe that, you know how they say when someone is on drug, you can't force them into rehab? You may not be able to force them into rehab, but you know what you can do? Is to call an emergency team, let them know that you have someone that needs help. You can trick an emergency team into getting an addict into an hospital and hopefully getting them to a rehabilitation center. That was also an option. Did Brian explore that option? No. If he was on time to give her Narcan, he was there watching the entire thing going down. That's my, assumption, because it is said that she was there from the get-go with them. So why did you allow this woman to do that? And they're saying, Hayden's history, and this is I don't know how people say Sloan Bella's fate, because what I see right throughout Hollywood is everything that Sloan Bella has shared. When you're in the industry at a very early age, they basically introduce you to one of two things. They either give you the happy pill or alcohol. And then when they want to take you out, they use one of the two methods to take you out. So they already have laid the foundation for you to become an addict. And if you don't have the right people to get you out, then they have you trapped for life. And when they want to get rid of you, they use one of the methods that they already have you addicted to. So what are the chances that Hayden was given a happy pill at a very tender age in the industry, and then now she has passed by way of a suspected overdose, right? No, let's continue, right? Because they're saying that she died after she was treated for cardiac arrest and suspected overdose at a loft apartment in Greenville, South Carolina. Her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Brian Hickerson, and his brother Zach were in the apartment when Peneterre was pronounced dead, with the latter sharing new details on the tragedy. Narcan was reportedly found on the scene of her August 16 death, with Zach revealing to TMZ Brian gave her Narcan. Narcan is the brand name for naloxone, a medicine used to reverse the effects of an opiate overdose. There are a lot of assumptions, speculations, and accusations currently swirling, he told the outlet. Of course, it's natural people are going to have accusations and assumptions. Why wouldn't they? Because, the internet is nobody's fool. No matter how smart you think you are, you cannot outsmart the world. The internet is the world, right? No, the report further states that, he says, the truth will come out as the authorities complete and release additional details from the investigation. And that is important because the people who loved and adore Hayden deserve the truth. Zach explained he went to visit the couple at the Airbnb in Greenville after not hearing from them all day. Oh, so we almost had 2 cases of overdose, you're saying, Zach? Is that what you're saying? Because that's the impression I'm getting. No, he says I exchanged messages that morning with Brian on my way to church. We planned on us all getting lunch and playing indoor golf after the service. He elaborated. When I left church, I called and texted both of them. When I didn't reach Brian or Hayden, I just assumed maybe they fell back asleep, so I drove over, went to the Airbnb. But didn't he say he never heard from them all day? So did you hear from them or did you not hear from them? Because that's a bit confusing. It can't be you heard from them, but then you didn't hear from them. Like that's a bit, that, like, I wouldn't say all day because you had plans and you went to church, you heard from them earlier, but then you didn't hear from them, to, meet up with your plan in a time sensitive manner. So that's questionable right there. But they're saying, according to Zach, knocking on the apartment door woke up Brian, who let him inside. When they both tried to wake up Hayden, they realized she was not conscious. Zach then called 911 while Brian administered the medicine through her nose. Okay. We then jointly performed CPR while 911 was on the speaker until fire and emergency service arrived. At that point, we watched as they tried every measure possible to save her life, he continued. Police reported no signs of foul play at the scene, nor were there any indication of trauma in the coroner's report. Yeah, they told us that. I believe, so that ends that report. I believe they were there. I believe they were doing drugs. I believe Hayden overdosed. I believe they gave Hayden Narcan. I believe they definitely performed CPR. I believe they panicked after they realized that they were unable to revive her, and it took them a while to call 911. So I believe that while they did not do anything to her, I mean, the guy was just bad news from the get-go. He was just bad news and not someone that Hayden should have been around. But at the same time, in all honesty, Hayden is a adult. But, I mean, sometimes even adults needs looking after, and that is something that is not talked about enough. That is something that we don't acknowledge enough. Oftentimes we tell people that, oh, you're an adult. Oh, you're too, old to be doing this, or, oh, you're too old to be doing that, but people do need someone to look after them. Not because we're adults, it doesn't mean that you have mastered all the keys and you have the answers to everything and you know how to navigate through all your feelings or should know how to navigate through all your emotions and all of that jazz. Sometimes we need to be a bit more, sensitive to others and the suffering that they're enduring. But it's just sad no matter what. And knowing Hayden's story, especially how disconnected people were from her, as though everyone had given up on her. And I believe that when you truly love someone, no matter what struggles you're going through, you never give up on them. You keep fighting for them, especially when you realize that they're not able to fight for themselves. But that's all I have to share in this video with you all. For now, we're gonna talk some more in the comment section. Peace.